ever wish you could, like, decode the secrets of those people who just have that charismatic conversation thing down?
Mm-mm.
We're going to try to unlock those secrets today, diving into this book, How to Talk to Anyone by LEIL Lowndes.
Oh, I love this one.
You shared some excerpts with us, and now we're going to pull out the most practical, intriguing advice for everyone.
You know, what I love about Lowndes is she has this way of breaking down these subtle cues and techniques in a way that almost anyone can use.
Right.
It's not about like transforming you into someone you're not, but more about really harnessing that natural charisma I think everyone has.
Okay, so how do we do that? Let's unpack it.
Yeah.
So Lowndes, she is adamant that first impressions are everything, and it all starts with nonverbal cues before you even say a word.
Absolutely.
Why is that so important?
Well, think about it. In those first few seconds, and we're talking like milliseconds, our brains are already hardwired to make these snap judgments.
Right?
We're subconsciously evaluating someone's trustworthiness, competence, even social status, just based on body language.
That's incredible.
It's crazy. It's fascinating.
It's like we're all amateur sleuths trying to read each other's minds before we even say hello.
Yes.
Lowndes talks about this caricature artist, Robert Grossman, who could capture someone's, like, entire personality just from their posture.
Oh, yes. And he would even highlight these really subtle things, like he did a drawing of Bill Clinton once and gave him this very slight head tilt.
Uh,
And it just instantly conveyed that kind of boyish charm that Clinton had.
yeah.
It just underscores how much our bodies are saying without us even realizing it.
So interesting. So how do we use this to our advantage? Is it like power poses in the bathroom before every meeting?
Thankfully, no.
Okay, good.
That's not really Lowndes' style. She's much more about working with what you've got.
Okay.
And one of the most potent tools she talks about is something we all have, a smile. But not just any smile. It's what she calls the flooding smile.
Okay. I'm picturing like a toothpaste commercial. What is that?
I know, right? It's a little more nuanced than that.
Okay.
It's not about like this big fake grin plastered on your face.
Right.
It's about a slow, genuine smile that spreads across your face as if you are truly delighted to meet this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the only one in the room. Like that smile is just for them.
Oh.
And what's interesting is she noticed this in a lot of really like highly successful people.
Really?
They had this way of smiling that just drew you in.
So it's not just like the quick, polite smile we give strangers in passing.
Oh, no. This is different. This is about connection. The flooding smile tells the other person you are someone worth taking a moment to appreciate.
I like that.
And that feeling, being seen and valued like that,
Yeah.
is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, it is. It's like that feeling you get when someone's eyes light up when they see you. You just instantly feel special.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of eyes, Lance also talks about sticky eyes. That sounds intense. Should I be concerned?
Okay, let's not get carried away. It's not as intense as it sounds. It's really just about holding eye contact, but like a beat longer than you normally would, even after someone finishes speaking.
Okay.
Imagine, like your eyes are glued to theirs with, I don't know, warm taffy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do look away, it's slow, almost reluctant.
Like you're hanging on to their every word without actually saying it.
Exactly.
But isn't that like prolonged eye contact a little awkward?
It can be, if it's not done right.
Right.
There's a fine line between like interested and intense.
Mm.
And actually, Lowndes talks about this other level. She calls them epoxy eyes, which is a whole other.
Oh, boy.
But we're talking about subtle cues here. It's all about subtlety.
Okay, so what is the science behind this? Like, what is it about eye contact that kind of unlocks that deeper level of connection, you know?
Well, studies have actually shown that prolonged eye contact triggers the release of phenylethylamine.
Wow, say that 3 times fast.
I know, right? But it's basically a hormone linked to those feelings of
Yeah.
attraction and excitement. It's the same hormone that's released when we're, like, falling in love.
Oh, wow.
So it's like you're tapping into those primal instincts, even in a professional setting.
Oh, okay. So this works in, like, a boardroom setting, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what it conveys in that context. It's confidence, respect,
Right.
genuine interest in what the other person has to say.
Which are all good things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Invaluable qualities in any professional setting.
Yeah. It's funny how something as simple as eye contact can completely change the dynamic.
Totally. And building on this idea of nonverbal cues, Lowndes suggests we treat people like big babies.
Okay, hear me out. Hold on. How does that even work in the real world?
Okay, so before you start picturing us all in diapers,
Okay, I'm slightly terrified, but intrigued.
it's not literal. Think about the way a baby's face just lights up when it sees someone it loves, right?
Hmm.
Their eyes widen, they get this huge smile, their whole body just seems to open up with joy.
It's true. It's pure joy.
Pure, unconditional enthusiasm. And the big baby pivot is about mirroring that same kind of open, receptive body language.
Okay.
So you turn towards them fully, make warm eye contact, and it's about making them feel like they're the only person in the room who matters.
Oh, that's nice.
It is.
Like when you walk into like a store and they actually seem happy to see you,
Exactly.
you instantly feel welcomed and important instead
Yeah.
of, ugh, you again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to make others feel that way? It's such a simple shift in mindset,
Right.
but it can make a world of difference,
It's true.
right?
So we've covered smiles, eye contact, and channeling our inner baby, all without even uttering a word.
I know, right?
What happens when it is time to talk?
Right.
Because I know a lot of people, myself included sometimes, I dread small talk.
Yeah.
Is there like a magic phrase
Right.
that Lowndes recommends to instantly become the life of the party?
Right. If only it were that easy.
Yeah.
I know. But seriously, she does offer some great techniques for navigating small talk, which, as she points out, can be surprisingly stressful,
Oh, yeah.
even for brilliant minds.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
It's like my brain goes on autopilot and I end up awkwardly complimenting someone's shoes.
Yeah.
Or just like desperately searching for the nearest exit.
Right. Like, how do I get out of this conversation?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. You're not alone.
Okay, good.
Many people, especially those who, excel in other areas, they find small talk daunting.
Right.
But Lowndes argues it's often a matter of just finding the right rhythm, like
Yeah.
tuning an instrument before you play a song.
I like that.
She calls this making a mood match.
Ooh, making a mood match. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's about kind of finding that common ground before you dive into the deeper conversation.
Exactly.
This reminds me actually of this time I got stuck in an elevator with a group of Mensa members.
Oh, no.
And their energy was, to say the least, intense.
Yeah, that's a classic example of a mood mismatch. You're probably hoping for a quiet ride, and they're ready to, debate quantum physics.
Exactly. Like, I did not sign up for this.
I know.
But Lowndes' point is, I think, before launching into any topic,
Yeah.
you have to kind of tune into the other person's energy and meet them where they are,
Yeah.
at least initially.
Yes.
If you come in with this totally different vibe, it's just this awkward disconnect.
Precisely. And mirroring their energy, even just subtly,
Okay.
can make that conversation flow so much more smoothly.
It makes sense.
It's not about, mimicking their every move.
Right.
More like finding a harmonious tempo.
I like that, yeah, finding that shared rhythm.
Yes.
So once you've kind of found that shared rhythm,
Yeah.
does it even matter what you talk about, or is
Okay.
it more about the delivery?
Well, that's the thing. Lowndes is adamant that delivery is key.
Okay.
Even when you're discussing, seemingly mundane topics.
Yeah.
It's what she calls prosaic with passion.
Okay, I like that.
So you could be talking about the weather,
Right.
but if you do it with genuine enthusiasm, people are going to be drawn in.
That's true.
Right.
It's like that age-old saying, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Exactly.
But I think there's also something to be said for sincerity.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you can spot a phony a mile away.
For sure, authenticity is
Yeah.
crucial.
Yes.
Nobody wants to feel like they're being, fed lines from a script.
Right, exactly.
It's about finding that genuine spark of interest,
Right.
even in those everyday conversations.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And, speaking of finding that spark, Lowndes points out the power of one simple word that often gets overlooked.
What is it?
You.
Yes.
Okay.
Powerful, right?
I mean, it seems so basic,
Right.
but I'm guessing there's more to it
There is.
than meets the eye.
Because think about it. We all like to think we're not self-centered.
Okay.
But let's be real.
Yeah.
Everyone loves to talk about themselves.
And by consciously incorporating the word you into our conversations,
Yeah, okay.
we're speaking directly to that innate desire to feel heard and understood.
Interesting. So instead of saying oh, I had the most amazing meal at this new restaurant,
Yes.
you would say, you have got to try this new restaurant. I think you would absolutely love it.
Yes. You're making it about them.
Right.
Even subtly, you're instantly piquing their interest
Wow.
and making your words so much more compelling.
That's so interesting.
Right. She calls this communication.
I love it.
And it really does apply to every interaction,
Wow.
from casual conversations to high stakes business meetings.
It's like you're giving them a gift, the
Yeah.
gift of feeling valued and heard.
Exactly.
And who doesn't appreciate a good gift?
Exactly. And speaking of gifts,
Okay.
Lowndes also suggests bringing a "what's it" to social gatherings.
Well, what's it? Okay.
No, what's it?
Now, this sounds intriguing.
It is.
Is this like some sort of like magical conversation starter?
In a way, it is. Okay. It's simply something unique you wear or carry
Okay.
that acts as a natural icebreaker.
Oh, okay.
So it could be a piece of jewelry, a quirky hat, an interesting book, anything that sparks curiosity.
So it's like a built-in conversation starter.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good idea.
It gives people an excuse to approach you.
That makes sense.
And it shows that you're approachable and maybe even a bit playful,
Yeah, I like that.
which is always a good thing,
Yeah, it's true.
especially in social situations.
So what about, though, because we can't always rely on, like, quirky accessories
Right.
to do the talking for us?
Exactly.
What about those situations where you don't have a physical what's it,
Right.
or you want to connect with someone specific?
Right. She has a couple other tricks up her sleeve.
Okay.
One is the who's that technique.
Who's it? Okay.
This is especially helpful when you want to connect with someone specific
Okay.
at a party or event.
Okay.
And basically, you just ask the host or a mutual friend about the person who's caught your eye.
So it's like casual recon
Sure.
before you make your move.
Exactly. Gather some intel.
Okay, I like it.
So let's say you spot someone who seems interesting across the room.
Okay.
You could casually ask the host, be like, "Oh, who's that over by the window?
Right.
They seem fascinating."
Okay.
And let's say the host tells you, "Oh, that's Sarah. She's a marine biologist who just got back from researching coral reefs in the Maldives."
Oh, okay.
Well, now you've got a ready-made conversation starter.
Right.
You could casually approach Sarah and say, "Hi, I overheard you're a marine biologist.
Right.
That's incredible. What kind of research were you doing in the Maldives?"
That's great.
Right. And just like that.
So much smoother than just like awkwardly hovering, like hoping to like magically summon the courage to go over there.
I know. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah. So much smoother.
These are all good for, like, navigating those initial interactions.
Yes.
But what about those inevitable questions like, "Where are you from?"
Oh, I know.
Or, "What do you do?" Yes. Because I feel like my answers are always so boring.
I think we've all been there.
Right. Like, what do you say?
Well, that's where Lowndes' Never the Naked City technique comes in.
Okay.
And she has this funny anecdote about being asked about her hometown, Columbus, Ohio, at a party
Okay.
and completely drawing a blank.
Yeah, because just stating your city
Yeah.
or your job title, it's so impersonal.
Exactly.
Like you're reciting facts from a resume.
It's like reading from a script. Nobody wants that.
No.
So Never the Naked City is about finding ways to make your answer more intriguing,
Okay.
to pique the other person's interest and spark further conversation.
I like it. So how do you transform, like, "I'm from Columbus,"
Right.
into something more captivating?
Okay, so instead of just stating the city,
Right.
think about what might surprise or intrigue the listener.
Okay.
So you could say, "I'm from Columbus, Ohio," which is actually named after Christopher Columbus.
Okay.
And believe it or not, there are 14 other towns named Columbus in the U.S.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
You've taken something potentially dull.
Right.
And you've made it a fun fact.
Exactly.
That could lead to a conversation about history or geography
I know.
or even travel,
Exactly.
which is great.
It's about finding those unexpected angles that make your answers more memorable
Right.
and spark genuine curiosity.
Yeah, it makes you sound more interesting.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing the same principle applies to those dreaded "what do you do" questions.
Absolutely. Instead of just stating your job title,
Right.
try focusing on the impact you make
Okay.
or like a captivating aspect of your work.
So instead of just saying like, "Oh, I'm an accountant,"
Right.
you could be like, "I help people navigate the fascinating world of finance."
Yes. Much
Okay.
more compelling, right?
Yes.
You've painted a picture that's both relatable and intriguing.
This is making me realize how much I've been underselling myself in conversations.
It's a common mistake.
It's true. It's true.
We get so caught up in the technicalities of our work.
That we forget to translate it into something that other people can connect with.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
goes back to that idea of like thinking about the listener
Yes.
and what's going to resonate with them.
Exactly.
What's going to pique their curiosity.
Yes.
What's going to make them want to continue this conversation.
Exactly. It's about finding those common threads that weave us together,
Right.
even in those seemingly mundane interactions.
I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, Lowndes, it seems like she has a strategy for every conversational scenario.
She really does.
From those like initial awkward encounters to those deeper connections that kind of blossom over time.
She does, yeah.
And she emphasizes the importance of, like, tailoring your language to your audience.
Yes.
And it's not about just sounding smart, it's
Yeah.
about making other people feel understood.
Exactly. And one of the most effective ways to do that is by mirroring their language,
Okay.
which she calls echoing.
Echoing. Okay.
So it's about subtly adopting their vocabulary and phrasing to kind of build that sense of rapport.
So it's like you're subconsciously saying, we speak the same language,
Exactly.
both literally and figuratively.
Yes. I've noticed, like, if I'm talking to someone who loves to cook, I find myself using more, like, culinary metaphors,
Oh, interesting.
even though I'm not a master chef myself.
It's fascinating how we naturally adapt to create that shared understanding.
It really is.
Hmm.
But we can also use echoing more consciously to enhance that rapport,
Okay.
especially when someone's talking about something they're passionate about.
So if your friend's like gushing about their new puppy, you wouldn't just say dog, you'd stick with puppy.
Exactly. It shows that you're truly listening and attuned to the nuances of their language.
It's those small gestures that
Oh,
make
yeah.
such a difference. Now, I love this idea of echoing, but I also don't want to limit myself.
Right.
How can I, like, expand my vocabulary, sound a bit smarter?
Right. We don't want to sound like we're reciting a dictionary, right?
Yeah.
Lowndes actually tackles this brilliantly with her vocabulary enriching technique.
Okay.
And she argues that the difference between a sophisticated vocabulary and a mundane one is a matter of about 50 words.
Really? Just 50 words?
That's all it takes.
That feels shockingly attainable.
I know, right? And it's not about memorizing obscure jargon or speaking like some Shakespearean actor.
Right.
It's about finding more vibrant, engaging alternatives for those words we just overuse every day.
Okay, so instead of always relying on good, I could say excellent, fantastic, or even outstanding.
Exactly. Think about those tired words you find yourself using on repeat. Nice, interesting, funny.
Right, they lose their meaning.
Exactly. Grab a thesaurus or explore some word of the day apps.
I like those.
The key is to find words that feel authentic to you.
Right, not forced.
Exactly. And that fit the context of the conversation.
It's like giving your vocabulary a stylish makeover.
Exactly.
Okay, I can do that. But how do you make sure you don't sound like you're trying too hard?
That's where a bit of self-awareness comes in. Think about your personal style, your natural way of speaking. Choose words that feel like a natural extension of yourself.
Okay.
And remember, like any new skill, it takes practice.
That's true.
Start by incorporating a few new words into your daily conversations.
Little by little.
Exactly. And soon they'll feel like second nature.
It's like learning a new dance move might feel awkward at first, but with practice, it's just part of your repertoire. And speaking of learning new things, Lowndes talks about using analogies to make your points more memorable.
Oh, analogies are incredibly powerful tools, but they're most effective when they draw on the listener's world.
Right, not just our own. So, like, if you're talking to a group of musicians, you wouldn't use a sports analogy
Right, you'd opt for a musical metaphor.
to make that instant connection.
Exactly. You're tapping into their existing knowledge and experiences.
So if you're, say, explaining a complex business strategy to musicians, you could say, it's like composing a symphony. Each part needs to be carefully orchestrated to create a harmonious whole.
Perfect example. You've taken a potentially abstract concept and made it tangible.
It's about making those aha connections.
Exactly.
I'm realizing how much our ability to connect really hinges on our own willingness to venture outside our comfort zones.
I love that. Lowndes calls this scramble therapy.
Scramble therapy.
Yeah, she recommends trying something new each month. Take a class, attend a lecture, learn a new skill. It's about broadening your horizons.
So instead of just reading about architecture, I could actually visit an iconic building or...
Yes. Or even try sketching one yourself.
Wow, that's a good idea.
It's about immersing yourself in new worlds, even if it's just for a little while.
It's like that saying, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that mindset of curiosity.
So we've talked about so many great techniques today. Is there one that particularly stands out to you?
One that really resonates with me is never the naked thank you.
Never the naked thank you. Okay, tell me more.
It's so simple, yet so powerful. It's about making your thank yous more specific, more meaningful.
So instead of just saying thank you to the barista, I'd say thank you for making my morning with this delicious latte.
Yes, it's about acknowledging the effort someone has made.
Right, you're recognizing them.
Yes, expressing genuine appreciation no matter how small the gesture.
It's about making people feel seen and valued. And
Exactly.
that's ultimately what we all crave.
Absolutely.
We've covered so much ground today. From the power of a smile to the art of crafting a captivating conversation, I feel like Lowndes has given us this incredible toolkit to navigate any social situation.
She really has. It's a great reminder that communication is an art form.
And like any art, it takes practice, but it's also incredibly rewarding when you get it right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can open so many doors.
This has been a really great deep dive into the art of conversation. I feel like we've all learned a lot today. Armed with Lowndes' wisdom, I think it's time to go out there and put these techniques into practice.
I agree.
Remember, the most important ingredient is always authenticity. Be yourself, be genuine, let your personality shine. You might be surprised at the connections you make and the opportunities that unfold. Until next time, happy communicating.